This episode has been brought to you by ABC, personalised healthcare at your fingertips.
Welcome back to Who Wants to Be an Ethical Millionaire, and I'm your host, Sajeevan Saramanamustu. And boy, do we have a treat for you. Introducing our new contestant, a student studying biomedical engineering at the University of Sydney, a major ethics nerd. Please come onto the stage. Now, the rules of the show. Since ethic has no real right or wrong answer, you're going to have to justify all your answers, and we'll be the judge of that. You have 3 lifelines. Pass the question, 50-50, or phone a friend. Here's the stimulus that all your questions will be based on from here on after. In consideration of right ethics, would you deem this situation to be justified and ethical?
Oh, this one's not too bad. Lock in B, please. The privacy rights involve the users and those of the company. The user can be considered the author of their data and hence have the right to protection. This entails how the information is used. By concealing this from the individual, it is considered a violation of these rights. Conversely, the company in this situation has no rights regarding the data, and thus their use of it would be determined unethical from a rights ethics viewpoint.
Now, if you're so sure about the answer, how could a company change their actions to make it more ethical?
Well, the moral choice would be to tell customers how their information is being used, and then ask for permission to continue with the development of it, explaining that it will ultimately improve health outcomes globally. But since the company has not done that, I choose B, no.
Yes, well, unfortunately for the customers, this is the correct answer. For your next question, for $500. From an ethical, egoistic approach, would you deem it suitable for this de-identified data to be used by the company without the participants' knowledge?
Okay, so this one I have a pretty good idea with, and I've got to go with A. The ethical view focuses on the decision maker promoting their own good, which the company is most likely doing, thinking of the financial gain that they will receive. Additionally, they are possibly not valuing the implications this has for the patients who are giving this data, such as privacy issues.
How can you be so cynical? It is clearly stated that such data would produce better health outcomes globally at the expense of their own resources in the development of this artificial intelligence. Surely you must consider this may be ethical altruism.
I don't disagree that the process has great potential to benefit a wider scale of people, but in saying so, an increase in better health outcomes under their company brand is still likely to significantly benefit them. As health awareness rises, more people will be likely to buy the wearable device, increasing their exposure, and that's why I would deem this process ethical through the lens of an ethical egoist.
He's done it, folks. That's $500 for you. Alright, let's go again, but this time for $1,000. Here is your question. Since utilitarianism is primarily concerned with the consequences of a decision, which position would you take into greater consideration? The wider community or the participants unknowingly giving up their data?
I'm thinking I'm going to have to go with A. Well, utilitarianists value the opinion which produces the greatest benefit for the largest amount of people. For the question, I think I will solely focus on act utilitarianism. This view affirms that one's actions should be based on what will produce the greatest utility. I think for the largest amount of people to benefit, you must consider the aim of the obtainment of data to improve health outcomes globally. But in saying so, a large number of participants are affected and feel as though their dignity and privacy is being ignored.
Would you say that even if the number of participants match those being benefited by the global health outcomes?
I think I would because I see health as a priority for humanity, and in this case, using the happiness objective function, it has the potential to outweigh the possible suffering and produce the greatest utility. I think I'm going to lock in the greater consideration to the wider community, and in doing so, justify the decision to be ethical from a utilitarianism approach.
Well, that is correct. Waiting for the $1 million question, the final question for your shot at taking the moral high ground. Is it okay for the company XYZ to be acting how they are?
Well, it can't be C, because a creative middle ground would be a compromise, something like telling the users but compensating them for their losses, but that doesn't answer the question. And it can't be D, because user information is not free for the company to use. But between A and B, okay, I'll use my 50-50. Hopefully that'll clear it up.
Right, let's see what the remaining answers are on the board. And it looks like C and D are cleared off. You're left with A, yes, or B, no.
I'll use my phone a friend.
I need an answer from you soon.
So what's your take on this, Andre?
Yes, great question. First, let's look at how the engineering code of conduct can be implicated. The key highlights for this case would be the following. The company is not being honest and trustworthy as they fail to acknowledge how the data is being used. However, they do respect the dignity of all persons by de-identifying the data. However, they do not act on the basis of adequate knowledge as they do not meet the global regulatory standards regarding consumer privacy of data. Furthermore, the company does not engage responsibly with the community and other stakeholders, as all clauses within this case have been ignored by deliberately avoiding open communication. Clearly, the engineering code of conduct is not being followed here, and thus it is in my expert opinion that the company should tell the participants how their data is being used.
Okay, what's your final answer?
Right, so I've decided the company has not acted ethically, so I'm going to lock in option.
We have ourselves a winner, folks. Congratulations, John Smith. You have won $1 million in shares in the ABC company.
But the money?
Nope, that's not happening. Now that you're the major shareholder in the ABC company, they will be following your decision to tell the participants how they use their data.
Up next on Channel 9, we look at ethics in either placebo tests, faulty implants, or this same scenario again. Does anyone have the TV guide?